Hello everyone, and welcome back to my videos here. As always, I'm here giving you two new movie reviews for this year. The ones I have seen, and which is Scream 5, or the new entitled Scream movie, and the one I've seen more recently of Jackass Forever. However, both are still fresh in my mind, so I'm giving you my review for Scream 5 here. And essentially, Scream 5 is of course, the fifth, or is it just, it's just actually officially Scream. I feel obliged to say Scream 5 because, title the original. But this is the fifth and supposedly final of the Scream franchise. It started all the way back in 1996 with Wes Craven's first installment of the series. And basically, I've been a fan of these movies for a long time. Basically, this movie, I'm not trying to give too much of the plot because the plot is the favorite that gives away within the storyline and gives you much more engrossment all the way through. Like with any movie, again, the Scream movies, it's like, that line that's said out loud in the video store in the first Scream movie, everyone's a suspect. And you also want to keep everything close, a little bit more tight to the chest. There's a sense of how can you trust anyone? How can you trust someone who are close to you? And it really does depend on that tone and approach. Because Scream 5 is undeniably a worthy installment. Although, I would say if I was to have either this movie or Scream 4, and just keep it as it is within the series, I would have still felt like it's a worthy addition, even if I, in the very least, from a more story-wise perspective, Scream 4 had a little bit more. This one may have, Scream 4 may have better new characters, but Scream 5 has a better plot and how it ties back to the original and how they all tie the series together. Because I've always been a big fan of these movies. I loved the first Scream movie back in '96 when it came out. I think that's one of the most. It's one of the most revisionistic, smart, and one of the most enticing horror movies that really knows how to switch up the tone and approach in the comedy aspect a little more tongue in cheek. Like, I'll always say this for Scream. What Scream does for horror, I would say what Scream does to horror movies is the same thing of what Austin Powers does to the spy genre. It's a little bit more funnier, a little bit more cheekier, and it knows within it works within its limits while acknowledging what makes it work and not work while being a lot more self-aware of its self-deprecating approach and the sense of tone and everything. And I think this movie really benefits from it because I think the new cast is really strong and how, as I said, within the plot, all ties back to the original, and with the original killer and oh god, shit, god damn it, and how it basically ties back with like a bunch of these other actors in the first movie, and it does not to such a degree. And I'm sorry for being very vague because, essentially the new cast has getting revisionist from. It's really difficult. It's so difficult to explain the plot because you don't want to give too much away of this film. And I thought this film was very smart, and definitely as a Scream fan, there's a sense of anticipation and what it will do within the story to make it smart, distinct, while standing on its own two legs of being a horror movie, while also being a smart story within the structure of the series, and while also still making it feel like a good honorary piece as well as still stand on its own two legs. It doesn't entirely do that because it's so tied to the original, but the films do tie themselves to the original and have shown how much the first film had so much repercussions through the characters and everything, and it really smarts. And it really, really, really works smartly because of that. The stories in this film was really good. I liked a lot of the kills. I thought that most of those, I could see some things coming in. Okay, some little critiques of this film is that I could see some of the twists happening over time. And I do think this film doesn't take itself, and it takes itself a little bit too seriously for a Scream movie. Like what makes Scream 1, 2, and 4 so well, in my opinion, is that they knew how to balance the thrilling horror scenes within this more comedic, tongue-in-cheek approach. Scream 3, Scream 3, in my opinion, as much as I did like the movie, is a little too meta and it strives away from what it once was. even though I do enjoy that movie, Scream 3 is still the weakest of the movies for its own innate reasons. I do think Scream 5 is probably I would say it's the most inherently scary of these movies. It knows how to pay a little bit more into that dreary, oh crap, what's going to happen? And out of the new cast, I thought that most of the new cast was good. Some of them don't get not nearly as much as development as others do. Some of them are a little bit more forgettable. But as I said, they know to utilize their cast and their writing to such a smart degree that it kind of allowed me to forgive some of the side characters. So we could just focus a little bit more on how the original plot of the villains from the first film, and that's all I'm going to say about the plot, and how it all ties it together in such a really smart, meaningful way. And now knowing it's been like it's been almost like a month since this movie came out, and now knowing we're going to get a Scream 6, a part of me says, why? But then again, I thought myself saying that before I saw this movie. So it really kind of depends on execution. So on one hand, the idea of another Scream movie could work, but it feels like, oh, this movie came back and it was like, it made just enough. So in traditional Hollywood profiteering ways, it's going to do another one. And I'm just like, God damn it. Installment within the whole movie series and everything like this, just can't let things be. Oh, this movie was great enough and it made good enough money, even though it was kind of marketing itself as a final chapter and all this. They can't let it be. They want to make another. But then again, they have proved me wrong with this movie here. And if they could prove me wrong before, I'm assuming they could do it again with the Scream 6. Of the old cast that comes into this movie, I thought David Arquette was the best, and like, he truly had that kind of classic old Logan grizzle to him. Like, he definitely had that feeling of like, oh, I'm here, and I'm here to really punch back harder. And I thought he was underrated. He's always been such an underappreciated good actor, in my opinion, especially in films like Eight Legged Freaks and others. He's just so fun and good. And again, I'm sorry for being a bit vague within the story and plot. As they are both separated and intertwined as the same thing, but and I do apologize for being a little bit vague, but most of this movie really works really well. I thought the story was smart. Most of the new characters were really good. I like the thematic storytelling from how it connects to the first in such an interesting way. And also, Brian Tyler's score is really good, and knows how to feel like that classic original score from the 90s as well. What else can I bring up? This movie that I really liked. Overall, I thought Scream 5, in my opinion, is a worthy addition. Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie, everyone. I really did. I give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. And I would say, yeah, it's a really good movie. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And if anyone wants to wonder what my ranking for the entire Scream series is this. Scream, the first, Scream 4, Scream 5, Scream 2, Scream 3. And so, to refresh, it is Scream, the original, Scream 4, the new one, Scream 2, Scream 3. That's my entire ranking of the series. I really do hope you all here enjoyed my review for this movie. And as always, I'll see you guys within my review for Jackass Forever. Till then, cheers.